How do you get your protein? Shakes? Beef? Tofu? Beans? By eating inspirational quotes? While some of us might be able to live, laugh, love our way to good health, a lot of people get their protein from chicken. Chicken has become the world's most popular meat, but a lot of supermarket shelves have been suspiciously empty of the bird recently due to supply chain issues. Does this mean we'll have to eat cricket burgers or fried iguana sandwiches? And what will become of the chicken sandwich, a culinary masterpiece that is both affordable and infuriatingly delicious? But while chicken shortages are probably just a temporary thing, there are some weird, downright filthy secrets about the poultry industry that have critics crying foul. Welcome back to Weirdly Interesting.
What are you? An idiot sandwich.
The history books might not want you to know this, but fried chicken actually dates back to the Ice Ages, when it was cooked up in ritualistic feasts to celebrate important sporting events. Well, that's not true, but it has been around for a while. It became a hit in the American South during the 1700s, when West African chicken preparation met Scottish deep frying techniques. If you're in the mood for some fried chicken, you don't have to look very far. It's pretty much everywhere in the world. You can enjoy it head, beak, and all in China, or coated in a fermented chili paste in Korea, or in India, where a version called Chicken 65 is marinated in yogurt before being deep fried. In Japan, families celebrate Christmas by buying buckets of KFC. Because over there, the answer to what would Jesus do is apparently eat fried chicken until his pants don't fit. Fried chicken is clucking everywhere, and it's undergoing a renaissance that's giving beef and pork farmers more existential dread than Rust Cole in True Detective. You might be able to watch the entire 3.5-hour-long coma-inducing Avatar sequel in the time it takes you to wait in line for a chicken sandwich at Howlin' Ray's. How has it come to this? To answer that, we have to turn first to a lazy, degenerate gambler who wore stockings. The sandwich part of the chicken sandwich comes from an Englishman named John Montague, the 4th Earl of, yes, Sandwich. Montague apparently had a gambling problem, and the story goes that one day in 1762, he didn't want to get up from his poker game, or whatever they played back then. Did the British Earls bet on colonies amongst themselves? Like, I see you're Jamaica and raise you in India. Anyway, a cook apparently brought Montague a piece of meat stuck between two pieces of bread, so the Earl wouldn't get his hands all messy. Another part of the story claims that Montague could have had the idea after visiting Turkey and Greece and seeing how they used bread as part of their meze plates. Before long, the sandwich had made its way to the States, and by 1815 it was included in an American cookbook. It became such a hit that there's a National Sandwich Day celebrated on November 3rd, the Earl of Sandwich's birthday. Inside the factories, a focus on speed and efficiency has created dangerous working conditions. The speeds on the lines where the chickens are prepared in these factories has doubled since 1979, from 70 chickens per minute to 140. Workers have complained that they need to wear diapers while working on the lines because they don't even have time for bathroom breaks. With increased processing speeds come increased risk for injuries, and the poultry industry has one of the highest rates. In 2016, more employees were hurt per capita in chicken plants than in logging, coal mining, or oil and gas extraction. The chicken business had been labeled the original gig economy by some. Today, when you think gig economy, you probably think of Uber drivers or DoorDash delivery people or any other number of jobs where health insurance isn't a thing. You get paid only by how many orders you can fulfill in a given day, and unions are a pipe dream. When it comes to the poultry industry, local farmers have basically been forced into a similar situation. Farmers own their land and facilities in the same way an Uber driver owns his or her car. However, big poultry companies like Tyson and Purdue provide the farmers with the chicks, feed, and antibiotics, and they provide them based on a ranking system, rewarding those who spew out more chicken products than others. It's a system called contract farming, And while some say it protects farmers against market fluctuations, and to be fair, the average chicken farmer's salary is around $68,000 a year, well above the average median income in the US. However, they only get about 7 cents per pound of chicken, which, when compared to beef farmers who earn nearly $1.50 per pound, seems like they're getting a raw deal. For now anyway, it seems like the chicken sandwich is here to stay. It's cheap, less environmentally harmful than beef and pork, and is undergoing a culinary renaissance even during this current period of inflation and economic trouble. To understand the astronomical, or shall we say gastronomical, rise of the chicken sandwich, we again have to dive back into history. Before the 1950s, chicken wasn't a very popular source of proteins for most Americans. It was considered a food for special occasions, or a food that wasn't even very appealing. When European settlers carried the fowl over to the New World back in the 1600s, the birds were scrawny and mostly used for egg production, and were only eaten when they stopped producing eggs towards the end of their lives. Fast forward to 1960, and not too much has changed. Your average American consumed about 28 pounds of poultry a year. Today, that number has nearly quadrupled to around 100 pounds a year. What changed? Well, it all really started in 1946 with a contest. The Chicken of Tomorrow contest was spearheaded by the USDA with the help of the supermarket chain A&P. Imagine the Miss America pageant, but instead of attractive women, you have chickens strutting their stuff and wearing sashes labeled with the farms they hailed from. It was a huge nationwide effort with 55 national organizers, scientists, farmers, and government officials. The goal? To produce a meatier chicken that could compete on the table with pork and beef. A 1947 article in the Saturday Evening Post put it mouth-wateringly well. One bird chunky enough for the whole family. A chicken with breast meat so thick you can carve it into steaks, with drumsticks that contain a minimum of bone buried in layers of juicy dark meat, all costing less instead of more. The contest worked. Farmers ended up breeding meatier chickens. But there was a catch. Before, chicken breeds were basically open-sourced. Farmers could trade, buy, or sell different breeds as they liked. After the contest, though, new, meatier varieties basically became intellectual property, highly coveted and more exclusive. Then, in the 1950s, they figured out that by adding antibiotics to the feed, these chickens could grow a whole lot faster and a whole lot fatter. And voila, the white, heavy-breasted, docile bird we know today came to be. It's the reason Truett Cathy and Chick-fil-A were able to sell their sandwiches on the cheap, and the reason American chicken consumption skyrocketed and became the #1 meat in the country. So, who was the genius who first thought, hey, let's throw some of this delicious fried chicken between two pieces of bread? According to Truett Cathy, the founder of Chick-fil-A, he was. Cathy started Chick-fil-A in 1964, originally naming it Dwarf House, but because the first establishment he opened was pretty small. Probably a good idea to rebrand. Cathy's claim to the original chicken sandwich is a problematic one at best, and a downright lie at worst. There were plenty of recipes for chicken sandwiches before 1964, like this ad from Kraft Foods in 1938. Waffle House served a chicken sandwich, and this photo taken in 1955 of the first Waffle House in Avondale, Georgia. Note the sign. To be fair, Cathy might have been among the first to stick a piece of chicken on a burger bun. Whoever did it first, the chicken burger/sandwich spread like wildfire. Chick-fil-A set up shop as the preeminent purveyor of chicken sandwiches. The recipe was simple: some fried chicken breast, mayo, pickles, and a brioche bun. Then, just a few years ago in 2019, Popeyes added their own spiced-up version to the mix, and we had ourselves a straight-up chicken sandwich war. Popeyes' new chicken sandwich was so popular that it sold out its entire summer supply in just 2 weeks. Other chains like McDonald's and Burger King stepped up their premium chicken sandwich game. Even Starbucks entered the ring. There was an explosion nationwide and worldwide in the culinary art of the chicken sandwich. Have a good chicken fact? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more weirdly interesting content.